Today's class is specifically meant for embryology students to help you clearly understand the physiology of menstruation, not only from a clinical perspective but with the sole aim of writing correct, structured answers in the exam. In this class, I will explain menstruation in a logical sequence, starting from ovarian events and ending with endometrial shading and repair. Menstruation is defined as the cyclical shading of the functional layer of the endometrium due to withdrawal of ovarian steroids, primarily progesterone, in the absence of implantation. The bleeding we see clinically is only a secondary manifestation. The primary event is endometrial tissue breakdown triggered by hormonal withdrawal. For menstruation to occur, certain prerequisites must be fulfilled. First, there must be an intact hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. Second, ovulation must occur, leading to corpus luteum formation. Third, estrogen must adequately prime the endometrium, followed by progesterone exposure. Finally, withdrawal of progesterone is necessary to initiate menstruation. In the absence of ovulation, true progesterone withdrawal does not occur, which explains anovulatory bleeding patterns. The hypothalamus regulates the menstrual cycle through pulsatile secretion of GnRH. The frequency and amplitude of these pulses vary across the cycle. During the follicular phase, faster GnRH pulses favor LH synthesis, while during the luteal phase, progesterone slows GnRH pulse frequency. Recent understanding highlights the role of KNDY neurons, which integrate metabolic, stress, and hormonal signals to regulate GnRH pulsatility, explaining conditions like functional hypothalamic amenorrhea. GnRH pulses stimulate the anterior pituitary to secrete FSH and LH. FSH promotes granulosa cell proliferation and aromatase activity, leading to estrogen synthesis. LH stimulates TECA cells to produce androgens and later induces ovulation and luteinization. The ovarian cycle consists of the follicular phase, ovulation, and luteal phase. The follicular phase is estrogen dominant and variable in length, whereas the luteal phase is progesterone dominant and relatively fixed at about 14 days. Ovulation is triggered by the LH surge resulting from estradiol positive feedback. Menstruation occurs when the corpus luteum regresses and progesterone levels fall. Following menstruation, estrogen stimulates regeneration of the endometrium from the basal layer. This phase is characterized by glandular epithelial mitosis, stromal cell proliferation, and elongation of spiral arteries. Importantly, spiral arteries do not coil in this phase. Estrogen acts through estrogen receptor-mediated gene transcription, preparing the endometrium for possible progesterone action. After ovulation, progesterone from the corpus luteum transforms the proliferative endometrium into a secretory endometrium. Glands become tortuous and begin secreting glycogen-rich material. Stromal edema develops, followed by predecidualization of stromal cells. Spiral arteries coil and depain. Progesterone stabilizes the endometrium and suppresses inflammatory and proteolytic activity. The endometrium consists of a functional layer and a basal layer. The functional layer is hormone-dependent and undergoes cyclical proliferation and shading during menstruation. The basal layer is hormone-independent and remains intact during menstruation, serving as the source for endometrial regeneration. Damage to the basal layer, as seen in Asherman syndrome, prevents normal regeneration and leads to menstrual abnormalities. In the absence of pregnancy, there is no HCG to maintain the corpus luteum. As a result, intrinsic luteolysis occurs, leading to a rapid decline in progesterone and estradiol levels. This hormonal withdrawal is abrupt and acts as a trigger for endometrial destabilization. Thus, luteal regression is the endocrine switch that initiates menstruation. When progesterone levels fall, lysosomal enzymes are released, cytokines such as interleukin-1 and tumor necrosis factor alpha are upregulated, and COX-2 expression increases. This leads to increased prostaglandin synthesis and initiation of an inflammatory cascade. Prostaglandin F2 alpha causes vasoconstriction of spiral arteries and strong myometrial contractions, contributing to ischemia and dysmenorrhea. Prostaglandin E2 causes vasodilation and increases vascular permeability, contributing to menstrual bleeding. This prostaglandin imbalance explains the effectiveness of NSAIDs in treating dysmenorrhea. Breakdown and repair occur simultaneously, which is why normal menstruation is self-limited and does not result in excessive blood loss. Initially, endometrial repair is estrogen independent. During this early phase, epithelial cells from the residual glands and basal layer migrate over the denuded surface. This process is driven by local growth factors, cytokines, and extracellular matrix interactions rather than systemic ovarian hormones. Once menstruation is completed, rising estrogen levels from the developing follicles initiate the estrogen-dependent phase of regeneration. Recent evidence also supports the role of endometrial stem and progenitor cells, particularly located in the basal layer and around blood vessels. These cells contribute to rapid epithelial regeneration and stromal reconstruction. For embryology students, whatever we have covered in this class is more than enough to understand menstruation and answer it confidently in the exam. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like and